One person who was very impressed with that message ahead of going to this religious service, the president of the Family Research Council, Tony Perkins. Tony, good to have you.
Neil, good to be with you this morning.
So you had a chance to watch speech. You and I were talking during the break that you liked the message. You thought it was an inclusive message. And despite many in the media ripping it, you didn't think that was warranted.
Well, Neil, what I thought it was a continuation of what he has been saying for the last year that rallied people to support him and elect him as the president of the United States. And what, as I said on the platform yesterday and watched the speech, watched the reaction of the governors and the senators.
Were you doing that?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. That's an interesting vantage point.
I was sitting right behind several governors from various states, and it was interesting when he went straight for the politicians, said, look, the day of politics as usual is over. We're going to get things done. But what he did is he said what he has been saying, which is very unusual for politicians who want to dial it back and they want to start saying these
presidential,
things.
Right?
Or they want to say things that don't mean anything.
Yeah.
But he went right at it, and he began to continue to say what he's been saying. And I think that is what the Americans want. They want somebody who says what they mean and mean what they say.
You know, his message has been that he wants to get to work. He wants to do things. He signed a number of executive orders that several of them undo the executive orders of Barack Obama. But there is, naturally, when a president of a different party than the prior occupant comes in, there's always tit for tat. And I'm wondering how in this very, very poisoned town, and you and I have chatted about it many, many times, they can ever get past that and look at the greater good.
Well, you know, what was remarkable watching history being made is that I can't imagine there was two starker ideologies being transferred here of power, and it was done peacefully. There at the Capitol, of course, last night, rioting in the street. But I can understand why some on the left are upset, because the reign of cultural lawlessness is coming to an end. And I think that disturbs those that have used the pen and the phone, as the president calls it, to push a cultural revolution in this country, which the American people were not for. Yeah. And this president is saying, look, I'm going to restore law and order. Remember, he talked about law enforcement. He talked about the military. He talked about taking on radical Islamists, things that have not been uttered from the president in the last 8 years.
But we'd also respect the institutions. His National Cathedral Service is part of that, you know, the system that we've become accustomed to. You've been to the cathedral, as have I. It's a huge place. It's easy to get lost. But I realize there's some famous people buried there. Woodrow Wilson is buried there. Helen Keller is buried there. So it's a profound environment where all religions are represented, including today Islam.
Yes.
So what message do you think Donald Trump is trying to send by attending this and taking in all these different religious points of view?
I think it's a continuation of what you saw yesterday. As a Christian, I was very encouraged that the gate to the public square has once again been opened to Christianity. Prayers offered in the name of Jesus Christ. But today he goes to the National Cathedral. It's open to all faiths. This is a country where religious freedom prospers, and America prospers when religious freedom prospers. And we've not seen that in the last 8 years. We've seen people being forced to hide their religion. It's time that we have religious
they almost,
freedom.
You know,
well, they're afraid to say
even
or
God.
live by it. And religion is the ability to live your life according to your faith. And fortunately, I think that's coming back in America.
Tony, thank you very, very much.
Neil,
it's been a long campaign. We chatted a lot through it all right?
I'm sure we'll have a lot more to talk about.
Indeed. Very instrumental support early on that might have tipped the race for Donald Trump at a time when, of course, Mr. Perkins was doing it, that got a lot of attention.